Oh, there you are. Oh, thank goodness. I heard the news. I'm sorry. Are you okay? It's okay to not be okay. I want you to know that. I know how it feels to not be okay and to pretend you're okay anyway, and I wouldn't want you to do that. Would going out help? We could go to the park or a nice restaurant, or, anywhere you want to go. Anywhere at all. Oh, you want to go to the Book Nook with me? Well, that's easy enough. I admittedly already have a pot of tea made. It's on a warmer, because I figured with the news, people coming in might like a cup of tea for comfort. It's been useful all day, but we're closing up now, so I guess it's just for us, yes? That'll be fun. Yes, follow me. I thought you might come over sometime soon, so admittedly I made the Book Nook a bit more cosy. There's lots of plushies, and I fluffed the pillows or changed out the pillow sheets, which I admittedly hadn't done since I got the couch. But now I promise it's clean and free of fur, which is a bit of a hard sell when you've got a tail as big and fluffy as mine. But a bit of sweeping, a bit of elbow grease, and it's perfectly clean. I love a clean space. I often find that in times of trouble, just taking a moment, getting out of your own head, and tidying a bit can be very, very releasing. Kind of help you get those emotions out. Give yourself room to recover. If you need help, I could certainly come over. We could spruce up your apartment, make sure that everything is in its place, and that you have the mental space to process what has happened to you. Okay, we can do that over the weekend. It can certainly help, and I could visit more. Of course, you're always welcome to come to the store if you need a kind ear. It's coming into winter, and usually sales fall a bit as people kind of want to stay in their houses, so I won't be busy. I'll just be around, and I think that's what you may need, just a kind ear that's around. Anyway, here we are, Book Nook. There you go. Sit here, would you? Yes. Oh, no, you're not helping me. You are relaxing, and that's in order. No ifs, ands, or buts. There we go. I'm glad you agree. So, I'll just go over here to the teapot. Admittedly, I made an ale grey tea, but it is getting kind of late in the day, so maybe something without caffeine. It might also help your anxiety to avoid caffeine. So, I will just take the kettle here. And I will take, what do you prefer? Like a raspberry tea, maybe a cinnamon tea? Oh, choi? Oh, that's a great choice for the winter. It's very warming and comforting, which is what I think is the medicine for your feelings currently. So a great choice indeed. Let's see here. Just going to grab a cup. Tea bags, kettle. There you are, 1 cup of tea. Let it steep for a moment, and then you can have as much as you want. In the meantime, I'm just going to sit down next to you, curl my tail around your back, and there you go, you've got a nice little security blanket. Nothing can reach you in my tail, I promise you. It's great to, fight against monsters or bad feelings, just kind of wrap yourself up. Or I will say, one bonus of being a skunk, tail is always a comfort object. Good for me, good for others, although I will admit, you're one of the only people who doesn't mind being wrapped up in a skunk's tail, which, is its own kettle of fish. But I'm glad you don't mind, even if you might end up smelling like books for a while. Still, maybe the scent will remind you of me when you're down, and it can help you process a little bit more? Yeah, something like that. Whatever I can do to help, I want to do for you. Really, I think the best advice I can give you, and I had to learn this really, really fast growing up, is you have to take what you can control and worry about mostly that. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and a lot of it is bad, and a lot of it is worrying, but you can't control the world. You can only control your mental space. And it's not always easy. I have some days where I'm not very good at it. Don't beat yourself up if that's the case. But, focus in on your own little world and try to fix what you can, and you'll find that things get easier over time. Time heals all wounds, as they say, if you don't mind me sounding like a Hallmark card. But so long as we keep strong and together, everything will be alright. Oh, how am I doing? Well, that's kind of you to ask. Although we're focused on you right now. Oh, okay, you want to focus on me as well? You want to... okay, I guess this is a two-way street, isn't it? I'm doing alright. Admittedly, I haven't been reading the news much. Admittedly, things have gone pretty well besides. It's actually kind of a good microcosm for what is happening right now. Because, being a skunk, people are a little bit prejudiced against me in general. They think I'm going to make them smell, or they want to be as far away from me as possible. And I kind of thought things would always be that way, and that people would always treat me that way. But I'm finding, as I get more confidence in myself and in my interactions with people, I'm kind of getting that kind of helpful energy back. And I find the town is slowly adjusting to me, and I wish I could show the me who opened this shop me now, and how the people around me treat me now, and how I can kind of surround myself with people who wouldn't do that sort of thing to me. And I can only wish you find the same, and that I can help you to find the same. Because, admittedly, I can't say I'm all the way okay either. I don't think being 100% okay is possible, particularly in our current times. But I think we can make our way towards okay together. So I'm doing alright. I'm managing. I'm trying to focus on what I can control. Basically, I'm trying to follow my own advice, which is hard. It's very hard to follow your own advice. It's easy to give, but it's hard to take within. So I'm working just as hard as you are to try and make it so that my space is a happy space and a comfortable space for those who may need it. And I'm happy to be able to do that for you. In fact, I think helping you is helping me in a way, because I get to externalize this advice and try to swallow it myself. Although do let me know if I'm getting preachy. I don't want to, preach to the choir about this sort of thing, but, talking and sitting and enjoying the company of someone you really like is the best cure. Though there will still be quiet moments where you are alone with your thoughts, and I find this is the time when reading is really, really helpful. Sometimes the world is dark and scary, so it's time to kind of go into another world and, experience the joys and failings and sadness and righteousness and triumph of a character who is not you. To look upon a dimension that doesn't exist, but does come to life in your brain. I've been reading The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern lately. She wrote The Night Circus, which is one of my favourite books. It's very lyrical. I may have mentioned it before. But I hadn't read her next book, and it's surprisingly on point. It's about a boy who finds a book in the library that's not on the register at all. And he finds fantastical stories inside until he reads a part of the book that describes his own childhood. And it leads him to a great archive deep below the city. A magical archive filled with all kinds of things. And I kind of related to that. Can't imagine why. But if you need, I can lend you the book, or if you like, I could read it to you. If you're not in the mood to read yourself, then sometimes audiobooks can be very helpful. A lot of people think audiobooks don't count as reading, but that's hogwash. I think anything that gets people to consume literature is a net positive. A lot of the kind of more classic books can be a bit impenetrable if you read them the normal way. So I think a lot more people engage with a lot more classics through audiobooks, because it can be a bit more digestible to hear someone read in a style you may not be used to. So audiobooks are also a great tool that you can put in your pocket. It's very easy to find them these days, but if you need recommendations, of course, I'm very good for it. I often mention Redwall, but the Redwall audiobooks are fantastic. They've got a great reader, and he really captures that kind of cozy, homey feeling. He describes all the feasts in a way that would make you salivate. And of course, that kind of low-stakes adventure is often very good for anxiety. In general, maybe revisiting a book from your childhood would kind of give you that same comfort. Young adult novels can be some of the most interesting novels out there because people tend to try weird concepts to get the attention of young readers, and I think that adults wanting to indulge in that is perfectly fine. People are way too judgy about reading in general, and I think now, in this time of comfort, we need less judgment and more togetherness. Which is why I'm so glad you came by. That way we can kind of be not okay together, and we can take solace in the things that we read, because the characters are stalwart no matter what happens to them, and they make it out the other end okay. Well, at least if you pick the right book. I probably wouldn't read any Greek tragedies at the moment, so probably not the vibe we're looking for, but just pick up a favourite book. A reread is fantastic right now. To revisit a book you hardly remember and experience it anew, that's fantastic. I think people should revisit their favourite books the same way people revisit their favourite movies. It's just so interesting to experience a story tour. I'm rambling, aren't I? Sorry, we should focus back on you. Your tea should be steeped enough right now. I'll just take the tea bag away from the cup. If you oversteep it, it can get bitter, and I don't think we need any bitterness right now. Oh? I know, you don't mind my rambling. But I still feel the need to apologise for it. I'll get over it eventually, but even though the town has been nicer to me, I'm still not used to not apologising for everything I do. I'll get it when I'm older. Maybe when I'm 40, I'll finally get the hang of it. Oh? More book recommendations? Of course, there's The Night Circus and Redwall, the books I keep going on about. And, I can't give book recommendations without, suggesting Discworld, which is always a nice series. It's a bit of a comedy series, reminds me of Monty Python at times, but with more heart and more action, for lack of a better word. I think one of the best books in the series you could read right now is The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. It's a YA novel by Terry Pratchett, and it's an easy read, which is what I find is best to chew on if you hadn't read in a while. It kind of gets your brain back into the habit of turning words into pictures in your brain, where you get that feeling like you're watching a movie, getting really engrossed into the flow of reading. It's not a shame to read books that are 50 pages, 100 pages only. Just whatever gets you back into that headspace is what you need right now. Oh? You want to read together? Like, in the same room? That sounds really nice. Just a bit of silent company. You wrapped up in my tale as we both experience our own little worlds and stories. I think that'll be just the ticket, don't you? Alright, why don't I grab The Amazing Maurice for you, and I personally have been reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It's a book that is a real doorstop of a thing. I've been reading it for like 2 months and I haven't finished it yet, but it's great. It's about two magicians in a world where magic is dying, and they think that magic is dead in England during the Napoleonic Wars, until two magicians come out of the woodwork and begin working with each other to kind of bring magic back. But there might be danger in bringing magic back. Sorry, going into storytelling mode. I should pull it back. Oh, you don't mind? I know you don't mind. I should get used to that. But still, if I say anything else, I'll spoil it. You might read it someday. Although, it is quite a thing to tackle. It's like 700 or 800 pages. I'm not sure. But I'll finish it at some point. I have a history with long books. I think the last doorstop book I read was The Name of the Wind, which I had fun with, but I got to admit the sequel left me a bit cold. But that was also a huge book. Although one big book that I have never managed to finish, I always end up distracted or I stop, is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. And I've tried really hard to finish that book several times. It's not the book's fault, it's my fault. It's not quite my usual flavour, but one day I will finish it, along with reading Lord of the Rings, which I haven't done yet either. I feel like that's a blind spot. It seems like anyone who loves books should read Lord of the Rings. Although, maybe I shouldn't put that much pressure on myself to read what I should read. I should take my own advice. I'm rambling again, which you don't mind. Oh? You find my rambles comforting? Oh, that's really nice to know. I often worry I'm a bit annoying. My voice is all high-pitched and a bit hard to understand for some people. So I've always been a bit self-conscious about my voice. Growing up, I got teased a bit for using too many big words and for reading too much and all that sort of thing. So it gave me a bit of a complex, which I tend to keep for some reason. I should let it go. I should ramble all I want. Maybe one of these days I'll come in with a whiteboard and a laser pointer and I can give you a big expose on Discworld. Of course, that's for later. For now, why don't we grab our books, have our tea, and just enjoy each other's company. Get nice and comfy inside my big, soft tail. Take a deep breath and don't mind the scent. Sorry. Oh, yes, I know you find it pleasant. Oh, complex skunk. Still, just deep breaths and scent to yourself. All right, let's read together.